to Mama's Land episode 6.
Who knows anymore?
Exactly. This is Megatron with Gimp Mask and special guest Dogmeat Lives.
Thank you for inviting me, guys. I was doing kind of like my 10-year check-in at DAC, and I discovered all this, the Discord and this the podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool.
Big things happening.
Yeah, a revival.
Yeah, about time, I think. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, how's your day been, Dogmeat?
Oh, God. It's uneventful. It's my day off, so I kind of just mope around the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll draw. Like, I'm working on this comic strip now, so I'll work on that. I'll clean. I try not to leave the house. I don't know. Ever since this pandemic happened, I just kind of like, I don't leave the house. It's like this minutest excuse that I have now for just becoming a recluse. And that's kind of what I've become on my days off when I can.
Oh, yeah.
How about you?
I got my vaccine this morning.
All good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my first one this week, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. I feel a bit funny, but I don't know if I'm just hungover or what. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting my second dose. And then, what else to do? Bit of gardening. Got a little garden, so I've been
really
tossing the beds. Yes.
What do you grow? Like vegetables, flowers?
More flowers than anything else, like wildflower, that kind of thing. But this year I'm going pumpkins, so we'll see how that goes.
Really? Pumpkins? That's a tough one to go from flowers to pumpkins. Or maybe not. I have no idea.
I don't know either. You put it in the ground, you water it a bit, hope for the best.
Right, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I know you need like an extra space right next to the where you grow it.
Right.
So that it can grow beside it. That's what I learned from Minecraft.
Right, good.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. You'll need an extra tile.
Yeah, right, good. I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah, and then you just whack the pumpkin and it goes right into your inventory.
Yeah, I'll just hit it with a hammer and it'll be in my pocket straight away.
Yeah, anyway, so I can do Minecraft jokes if you want, or we can, whatever.
It's freestyle, freeform, it's jazz, it's Miles Davis, who knows?
Right, sure. So do you have like introduction questions for well, I guess I should shut up and let you get to whatever.
I can't say whether we're that organised, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys had like this is our opening segment, letters from the fans.
Supposed to have questions? That's a surprise. Well, I do have a question. You're sort of the OG duck and cover radio person. Can you tell us a little bit about the Wasteland radio and how it came to be?
Oh, God, that's a good question. Oh, shit. I don't know. I think it came to be when, I don't know if I got the idea because Fallout 3, around that time, I had heard that there was going to be a radio station, and I stole it from them, like in the game, and I was like, that's kind of a cool concept. And it started as like a really shitty kind of thing where I would just like grab friends who couldn't be bothered and be like, you pretend to be a ghoul, and I'll be it. And it sucked. It was awful. It's like, it's super cringe. And eventually, like, I started writing storylines, and it got better. It wasn't so much like, crappy improv.
Yeah.
With people who couldn't care less. And yeah, so God, it was a long time ago. I don't remember when, but yeah, it was just kind of like, it'd be kind of cool. I like the idea of like a post-apoc radio station trying to survive. What would that be like? Interviewing people. That's basically what all these radio stations they include in Fallout 3 and 4 and New Vegas. Like that basic concept. But I was like, I'll try it. It's not very good. None of it's very... it's funny. Like, it got kind of good and tolerable when I decided I had enough and, like, ended it. I was just like, I'm done. Like, wrangling people and trying to write scripts and stuff. And I'm like, let's fuck this.
For how long did you do it?
I did it off and on for a long time. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and it was very off and on. Like I would sometimes like 3-4 months between episodes. But it was kind of interesting. It got, like, towards the end, it got like sort of creative. I've had like these crazy storylines going on with actually characters that I liked and I thought were kind of cool. So then after I kind of ended it, I did a short film that, because I worked at a radio station at the time, I was like, I have access to a radio station.
Yeah. And
I knew a guy who had like pretty good camera equipment. And a guy who was like, yeah, I'll help you edit. So, it was like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I'm like, if I don't do it now while I work at an actual freaking radio station, I'll probably never make a movie. The experience was bad. I wouldn't do it. I would never try to make another movie. But it was, it was kind of fun. I got some fun, interesting experiences from it. Ended up finding out that like the biggest Lord Humongous cosplayer in the world, which I don't know what I'm saying. That's not really saying that much. Like there's a whole army of them out there.
It sounds a big deal to me.
Yeah, he's pretty well known. Like there's like a Wasteland weekend event that happens every year. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Oh,
but he goes to that and gets a lot of like media attention or whatever. It's not a huge deal. Anyway, it turns out he's also like a huge Mad Max fanatic. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry. My computer went to sleep. My computer's bored with my story already. Anyway, so it turned out the guy lived like a half hour away from my house, and he had literally like a storage unit full of Road Warrior costuming and stuff. And he's like, "Here, you can use this." And I'm like, "Holy fuck!" I just reach out to can we swear? Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just reached out to the guy on Facebook. I'm like, "Hey, listen, it looks like you live near me." And he was like, "Yeah." And the dude was in for it. And he played like the big bad character, which is like a spoof of Lord Humongous in the movie. Oh, it's crazy. Then, long story short, that was fun, but I'd never want to do a movie again. So that's Wasteland Radio. Sorry, what the fuck? That was a really long story.
It was a good story.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good?
Like all long ones, yeah. Does he post on DAC, this guy?
No. God, I can't even remember his name. Like, what his like stage character name is. But he's got a whole identity. He does like the Russian from Rocky.
Yeah.
He does like G.I. Joe characters and stuff. So he's like a professional cosplayer that shows up at events, that kind of thing. But yeah, he came through in a big way for free. He's just like, here, take my football gear, with spikes on it. And I'm like, well, really? I could just like use this for this movie? He's like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I'll just need it back. And yeah, he was totally cool with it and a really nice guy. And he's actually a pool cleaner by day. And so anyway, yeah, it was kind of cool because like I met all these cool people and it was a cool experience. It was like a day. We got a day in the studio. It was nuts, and so that was kind of, I guess, like the peak of Wasteland Radio. And after that, I was like, I've got nowhere else to go. I did the concept in visual form. I'm sort of done with this whole thing. Whatever. But yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was Wasteland Radio.
I checked the thread, and looks like first time you shared some kind of a link was in 2008, and the last time was in 2016 or something. So quite a long time.
Yeah, 2008 sounds right. Yeah, it's 2016. Yeah, I'm sure there's I could probably find the I think it was Podomatic was the host. So yeah, it went out for a while, and there's only like 20 something episodes. I want to say like 25 episodes. So it was very on and off. Yeah, and I that sounds about right. Like a 6-7 year, 8 year span or 28 episodes. Yeah,
and finish with a film. That sounds good.
Yeah, and then I finished with like a little. The film was kind of like all of it together. It's like these are the big ideas in this thing. And I kind of like the big idea was like, it's fun, it's kind of like the Wasteland. It doesn't have to be all dreary and, like dark and people eating dog shit.
Yeah.
It's, it could be like a fun little comic thing which is basically what Bethesda turned Fallout into. So I think I was ahead of my time on that one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, copyright.
Yeah.
Did you post it on the forum a while ago? This film?
The film, yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, I think wherever GIMP is looking at, I think I've got a forum. I made a forum for it for Wasteland Radio, and I think eventually there I posted maybe a link to the movie. I don't know.
I think I watched it.
It's not very good. Yeah, I should also say that. It's not a very good movie.
I'm sure, the first time you do anything, it's not going to be the best, is it? But I think just making a movie, like, getting people together.
Right, yeah.
Organising. Massive amount of effort.
Yeah, major respect. Like, from actually, like, experiencing it and going through it, it's like, holy shit, man. It's tough. It is tough. And towards the end, you just kind of have to drag it to the finish and bring everybody else along with you.
Yeah.
It's not something I would ever... I mean, it consumed like a year of my life. Weekends, I'd be like, okay, I need to get you to show up to the radio station or so we can... they're like 10, 12 cast members, and I had to like rehearse with most of them. Some of them I couldn't even rehearse with, and they just showed up that day of. But like the major characters, I was like, we have to rehearse.
Yeah. And
then sometimes they cancel on you, and so your whole day is fucked. You're like, oh well, I plan to be, it was just and then I had to make all the props myself.
Yeah.
And aside from the stuff I got from this, but anyway, I'm complaining. So it was fun. It was fun.
How did you know how to make a film? Was it based on films you've watched about how they make films? Had you read books, or were you just making it up as you went along?
Yeah, I just kind of made it up. I mean, I had a kind of a sense of like, one scene's supposed to go after the other, and I wrote the script. I already had the stories in the podcast.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of I blended two stories together to make the script. So it wasn't like I was starting from scratch and just like, whatever. But, just kind of like, just watching movies and TV in general. And again, it's not a good movie. So it's not, what I learned from watching movies was not a lot. But yeah, I was just being a fan of movies.
Have you wanted to make any more films since, or was that experience enough?
It was enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I was like son of Spielberg, maybe I'd probably make another movie. But it's the resources are you kind of have to have a base of like people who are also in that world. I think.
Yeah.
And kind of like are invested in it. It's hard to get people invested in something like you came up with, and when you finish it, it's your thing. It's hard to get a whole bunch of other people on board for free to do that. So it's just kind of like, it's tough, man. If you don't have like a budget to speak of, it's a tough thing to do. So I would want to if I had a lot of good things, like a shit ton of money and a lot of people who are like, invested in the concept. But just being some guy in New Jersey, I'm happy making comics now by myself.
Yeah.
For no budget at all.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to be said for just working by yourself. Only trust yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at these days. I'm just kind of I try to do things that I can just see to the finish myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't rely on anybody.
Yeah. Don't trust anybody. Lesson number 1.
I think from what I remember, though, I remember seeing the film, which is good.
Yes.
I remember watching and thinking, this looks so professional.
Oh, thank you.
And it looked really nice.
Thank you. It's got kind of, the opening is kind of killer. I still like the opening, which is sort of a spoof of the Road Warrior opening, where it's kind of like a overview of the destruction and the collapse of whatever of the world, but it's kind of like a focus on like radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it sets up the story kind of well, so I'm still proud of that, and I'm proud of the whole thing. But there are certain scenes where I'm like, And I remember that day, I was just like, we just need to finish this scene. I don't care if you know your lines. I mean, the one character who showed up and didn't know any of his lines. So we had to rehearse the scene several times before we actually got to shoot it.
Do you remember the line?
No, it was all his lines. It was all of his lines. And he was one of the big three characters in the movie. And he was perfect for the role. So I was like, I understand that you're not going to have a lot of time to memorize your lines. I thought he might have some time, but I guess not. So when he showed up like late that day as one of the big three characters, that was rough, man. So yeah, I don't know what I was talking about here, but it was a real adventure.
Did you ever want to lose your temper a bit at people, give them a bit of a shouting at, that kind of thing, like Christian Bale in that?
Right? Yeah. No, because I wasn't paying it. You know, it was everybody who was there because they liked doing what they're like. The actors were there from a local college, because I knew a professor there, a theater professor, and he talked to his students, and I was able to get some really good people that way. And they were all people who were there because they enjoyed it. And you start shouting at people, they might be grouchy and not want to do the scene or whatever,
Yeah.
So I just kind of like, I'm sure I was short with people, but, at the same time. And I was like the main character in the movie, so, it was a hectic day and a half of doing that, yeah. But it was a fun experience.
Definitely. It sounds good. I will rewatch it after this podcast and send a review.
Yeah, just I would just say like skip the parts, or maybe like self-edit them, where I'm talking to the cupcake salesman on the radio. They go on for way too long, and he didn't have time to memorize any of his lines, so he's just reading off a script.
Okay.
And it's awful. It's just awful. It goes on too long, and they're awful scenes. Skip those. Thank you.
The director's cut.
Sounds too good to skip.
Yeah. If you look closely, the guy with the blue hair and the pink jacket is just reading as he goes along. And I was there, like literally holding the script up to him right in front of him while he was reading. It was crazy shit. It really was crazy shit. And then we had to shoot scenes at night, and one guy didn't show up and like wouldn't respond to my text. He showed up for the morning shoot, and then I guess decided he didn't like it and didn't want to come back. So we just had to recast him with the other guy. So you see him in the van at the end, and it's not the same guy. And I'm just like, and I'm like, whatevs. It's too late. I can't manifest this guy. So whatevs. Yeah, man. But it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of stuff like that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's show business for you.
Right, yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. So I see like low budget. I watch like Red Letter Media on YouTube. I don't know if you're familiar with those guys, and they roast a lot of like low budget, filmmakers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to have I have a total idea of like what these guys were going through. Even though I only did the one and it's terrible. It's definitely an education.
Did you ever show it at this I don't know, Fallout convention you were referencing earlier?
No, but I actually did because I knew the theater professor at the local college. He got me a theater, and we actually showed it in a lot. It turned out to be like beginning of January, and lo and behold, a blizzard like conditions were that day. That we had planned all this. So, we all got dressed up and went out there. A lot of people couldn't show up because of the blizzard, but it still turned out pretty good. It was fun. So we did get like a showing of sorts.
Yeah.
And it is like a 50-minute movie. So there was it was a longer event. I didn't get people to come out and watch like 15 minutes. It was a fun little event. And then we went to a bar nearby, and just kind of had a fun time. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. It was a shitty movie, but a lot of fun came out of it,
The memories you made all along the way were better than the film.
Right. It's not about the destination. It's about the friends you make in the stories.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Lovely.
Yeah.
Also, can we promote your art on here? Are you comfortable with that? Don't want to dox yourself?
Sure. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. It's just I draw.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram at O'Halloran, OHALLOREN.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you my address or anything like that. But yeah.
No, don't go too in depth.
Yeah. Blood type is no, but yeah. And I do my drawings there.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm just doing a comic strip because my day job is kind of consumes a lot of my time, so I don't have as much time to draw. I do a comic strip now that's like a Candyland action, like Lord of the Rings meets Candyland type of thing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing now. Yeah,
I looked at it earlier. Very good.
Thank you.
Like when me and Gimp made comics, it was baby stuff. But it's good to see actual the frames composed and things like that. The scenes change around. You can read what people are saying. So that's
a good thing.
Yes, very useful.
Yeah. It's good to follow the story. Be able to follow some kind of story. Yeah,
definitely.
unless the point is like not to, like maybe it's interpretive or something. But I'm very on the nose thinker and literal thinker. So I don't think I could do anything that's cryptic, even if I wanted to.
Yeah,
it would turn into like just a Saturday morning funny or something. I could go out with the intention to make like David Lynch, and it would be Peanuts. You know what I'm saying? But bad Peanuts. Bad Peanuts.
That sounds good.
That does sound good. NaughtyPeanuts.com.
There seems to be this common theme between the stuff you've done. Well, these, the radio show and movie and the comic. Namely, that you seem to like writing, storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of that's right. Yeah, that's kind of like a common theme. Like I think like it took me a while to figure it out, but I kind of have stories in my head, and I'm trying to figure out like the best way to get them out, and like share them with you. That's kind of been like my thing forever. So. Yeah, I kind of have my own stories. Like, so I think like drawing for people, it's fun. Like I get to do commissions once in a while. People, I've done like a few album covers or like podcast covers, stuff like that. Or like character designs or whatever. But yeah, what I really enjoy is kind of like telling my own stories in whatever, world that I want to. Right. So yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really good. Like definitely professional level kind of thing. Because I've made like been commissioned for paintings and bits and bats here and there, but yeah, you're a lot better. Put the time in. It's good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I went back during this rediscovering Duck and Cover for the first time in a very long time, and was looking at kind of like my first posts on there, which have got to be like, I don't know, man, maybe going on 20 years ago at this point, or like 15 at least, 16. And like posting like my beginning artwork when I was, I think, still in high school or just out of high school. And God, it was awful. And I have to say, like, Duck and Cover was probably the first place where I was sharing my drawings and people weren't like, oh, that's, sweet, and pat me on the head. You know what I mean? Like, it was, that's cute. Even though it was terrible. Like, I go back and look at my like early stuff and I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I put that anywhere in public. But, you guys, I think even, a lot of the old dudes, very nice about it. We're like, oh, that's good. And I'm like, oh my God, it sucks, but that's so nice. And, even Dreadnought, I don't know if you remember that guy.
I do.
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, he had some like constructive criticisms and stuff. And it's very nice to actually like give a shit and be like, you can improve in this way. It was pretty good. So I have to say, I sort of got my, like, a big struggle for me for a long time was like sharing any of this.
Sure.
Like, I thought it was shit. I thought all my ideas were shit and, not worth sharing. And it was sort of embarrassing that I drew stuff or what I drew. But it was Fallout. I started doing Fallout fan art and I started sharing it with you guys. And it kind of slowly gave me some of the courage to keep going. Keep going with it. So that's something I always remember DAC for, is like being the first place where I started showing my stuff and improving, because people will be like, oh, this could be better, or like just showing interest, and I'll be like, oh, I want to do something else that's cool to impress these guys. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. So you owe DAC your life, really.
I really do. Yeah, that's what I say. When I pray at night, I go, it's all because of Fallout fandom. That I exist, really. That I have a wife, that I have a place to live, a roof over my head, food in my stomach. It's because of the Fallout fandom, and not just any Fallout fandom, the most like aggressively angry part of it.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah, God bless. Yeah, really. Yeah, so, everything. I owe everything to DAC. That can be a blurb if you guys want to use that. That's a blurb right there.
We'll do it. Yeah. Quotes.
Yeah, quotes.
Yeah, our first one.
first blurb. Yeah. And Mama's Gang. I should add that. I owe everything to DAC and Mama's Gang. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
When I rediscovered Duck on Cover, around the end of last year, I went through all of my old DMs.
Right. Oh, God. I haven't gone there. No.
It's 90% some gibberish by Megatron. But there's some stuff like I noticed I asked some drawing hints or stuff like that from you.
From me?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was looking up to your stuff back then already. I just noticed you sent me some concept art for this Fallout-y comic you were doing 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta send you that. Tales from the Brotherhood.
Ugh. Sounds awful. Yeah, I tried to do a couple of Fallout. You know what, man? And I'll tell you this. I did one strip, and I remember this because it's still like cringe when I remember this. I did one strip where it was basically just like this guy in a cartoony way coming out of a vault. It was basically just Fallout 1, the very big first scene with the rats. He comes out of the vault and there's rats. And I remember I posted it on, I think it was No Mutants Allowed, and someone was like, wow, what a novel concept. A guy coming out of a vault. And it killed me. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing a second one. One guy's comment, I still remember it. He was like, wow, what a great idea. Never seen this before. Something like that. And I was just like, oh, God. I was hurt to the core. And I never... But he was right. It would have been a waste of my time to continue. It was a terrible starting point for a Fallout comic. Hey, this is just fucking Fallout 1, but done worse. Stick around for more. Oh, man. Yeah. But... oh, jeez.
It sounds... I'd like to see it. I'm going to do a bit of research.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's in old but new... No, I know it is because I saw it there and it refreshed my memory on it. But, yeah, it's in that old but new fan art forum that I...
That is a thread that listeners can look at now and post. Yeah,
that's kind of like my whole history of posting my art on DAC.
A lot of that stuff is up still, which is nice.
Yeah. Even I had a photo bucket. Anybody remember Photo Bucket?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and somehow they still have my photos on the website. And you can still see like the very first thing I posted. It's just, it's awful, but yeah. Back in 2007, so not as long ago as I thought. But I couldn't draw back in 2007. I guess it turns out. Yeah, and Dreadnought had a very nice comment. He says it's not flawless, but I like it, which is like, wow, that's kind of nice.
He's a big sweetheart, isn't he? Really, Dreadnought.
He really was a nice guy. Yeah,
Sure.
I remember he messaged me at one time. There was some kind of like fight going on. It was almost like a turf war. And he wanted me on his side. I can't for the life of me remember who was on what side, but I remember him like messaging me and being like, "You're on my side, right?" And I don't remember what I said, if I agreed with him or what. But yeah, I wonder if I could find it. I don't want to like out. Oh yeah, Dreadnought, swell guy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I like
I
that
probably
idea.
shouldn't read Dreadnought's DMs out loud here. But yeah, wow. This is going back. This is like memory lane. I'm like aging before my eyes. It's like the end of Raiders, or no, the last what is that? The last Indiana Jones movie where he just kind of ages real fast and melts.
The Grail one.
Yeah, the Grail one. Yeah.
Search. Is it Search India? Whatever. Not the Holy Grail. It's the Monty Python thing in it.
Yeah, what's the last one? What is that? The Hunt for the Holy Grail or something? Indiana Jones and the Lost Grail of the Ark or some shit?
The Last Temptation of Indiana Jones.
Oh, Last Temptation. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good one. The Passion of the Jones.
Yeah.
It's just him getting whipped for like an hour and a half. We named the dog Indiana.
Exactly. I always think about that when I see a dog. Well, I hear a dog's name being mentioned, and then I always think of that line, "We called the dog Indiana," whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think, how did that dog get its name? Like it's just called Timothy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Which dog? You just a random dog. Like, how did they get their name?
Yeah.
I always think, I think the same thing. A lot of times, we name the dog Indiana just comes to me. And it's a funny line, but then I think, like, oh, why the fuck did he adopt the dog's name as an adult? Like, why did he go with that? Like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it don't make any sense.
That's like some guy walking around as, like, Spot Jones, Dr. Spot.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Why don't you just keep your normal... What was his normal name? Melvin or something? It was embarrassing. It was like something lame. That'd be funny if he just stuck with it. It was like Melvin Jones.
Yeah. A professional explorer.
Dr. Melvin Jones.
Those movies are great. I love the Temple of Doom still.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. Temple of Doom. I love it. People are haters, and they're like, it's too dark for me. I know. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
Grow a pair and enjoy the Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love when he goes, chilled monkey brain. I love that part. And they're like, ew. I love the gross outs. I love like the little slave children underground.
Exactly.
Like, the whole thing is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
It's very gritty.
It is gritty.
When the bridge at the end, it's like, whoosh. And
oh, that's such a great scene. Yeah, that's like perfect. Oh my God.
You couldn't write it.
But what I did watch it, when I did watch it, like fairly recently, what did kind of kill it for me was their escape from that plane on like a rubber dinghy.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, come the fuck on, man! Dead on impact.
Definitely.
You can't tell me that's not an insta kill right there for all three of them.
Yeah, they'd be dashed along the mountainside.
Yeah, but it worked. They hit it at the right angle. I mean, if nothing else, your like tailbone would be fucking brutalized. Hitting the ground like that?
It'd snap off.
Yeah, unless you were extremely lucky, which I guess, Dr. Jones is the king of luck.
Yeah, I like his style. I remember asking my mum, like, why does he have a whip? What's the deal with a whip?
It's like a kinky thing. It's like a kink.
It's a bit of a kink thing, isn't it, really? It's an odd weapon to have.
It really is. Like, there's no excuse. The gun does a better job in most situations. Carry a shotgun if you need some alternative to the regular gun. Why a whip? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I've never actually thought about that. You're an archaeologist. what do you need a whip for? Just bring a shovel or a pick?
Could you imagine?
Or...
Like him showing up to the dig site and he's got a whip out?
Yeah.
It's like, what does he think this is? Where does he think we are right now? How is he going to motivate the help? You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, a gun and a whip.
What the fuck, Melvin?
Yeah, Melvin Jones. Dr. Jones! Dr. Jones! Hey, Sputnik, or whatever he called that little kid. That little Asian kid, I should say. Oh, Sputnik? What did he call it? No, not Sput.
Round top? Big?
Round top. Round top.
He was in the Goonies as well, but I can't remember.
Yeah, he was. He was, yeah, with the invention.
Yeah, them teeth on a fucking bit of string or something. That won't work.
Yeah, which you get canceled for these days. Putting the Asian kid as the smart one who invents things. That's a big offense there.
That set the precedence.
Well, I want to avoid like controversial stuff. I don't want to get you guys in trouble.
This podcast is the home of controversy.
Oh, good. Okay. Well then, yeah. It's not good that he was the inventing person.
No, they should have just been. They should have just picked a name out of that and then just gone along with that. Like Chump could have been the handsome one, and the handsome one could have been the little geek. You know?
Yeah. Just put some glasses on him and make him a nerd.
Yeah, and make him a couple of spots. They've started seeing showing more advert for like spot cream and stuff. I've noticed on television, but I haven't seen anything like that for a long time. I thought it just died off. All this anti-spot Clearasil shit, put it on your face.
Pimple? What do you guys call them in England? You call them spots?
We call them spots. Yeah.
Pimples, zits.
Yes.
Nasty little, pustules. Pussy zits.
Slime balls.
That's what we say.
Yeah.
I don't really watch commercial. I don't really watch TV anymore. But I would assume, they're probably the Clearasil and stuff. I remember when I had pimples and I used to, or spots or whatever, and I used to use Clearasil, and it was gross. It was like it smelled like alcohol on your. They're putting vodka all over your face, and it hurt. I'm like, I'll just take the zits.
Yeah.
God. It's not like I'm cool anyway. Like, what are the zits, detracting from? Nothing.
Yeah, be proud about them. I remember I used to have I never knew what to do with my hair, so I wet it and then I combed the top, and then I just left the rest, and I looked bloody silly.
Wait, I'm sorry. Go over that again. What? Wait, what?
In high school, I had quite a big barnet of hair, a lot of hair. But I never knew what to do with it. So in the morning, I wet it with cold water. Then I combed it over like a sort of side parting.
Like a trump?
Yeah, but then...
Was it like a trump?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'd just leave the sides. And that would be my look. But often by the time I got to school, it just gone anyway. So I was a funny-looking teenager.
Yeah. I was, I don't know. I guess I was funny looking too. I was very skinny. Like I've always been very weirdly skinny, small. I'm sort of runty, I guess. I've put on weight in recent years, but yeah, in high school I was like rail thin, and yeah, I don't know. And very shy. Like I still have social anxiety. But in high school, it was severe. Like I would just clam up mid-conversation and turn red for no reason. And you know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, what I looked like didn't really matter.
No, but it doesn't anyway. But
right, that's true. We're all just particles.
We're all just stardust, aren't we?
Dust in the wind. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely more dusty than I used to be.
Yeah, I've got. You know what? I've got dandruff. And what I realized, in the last few months, is that it's because I've been using anti-dandruff shampoo.
Yeah.
That's actually been causing the dandruff. How's that for conspiracy theory? You know what I'm saying?
I believe in that conspiracy, big time.
Yeah.
Don't wash my hair, mate.
I started using my wife's shampoo, and I'm not dusty anymore on top.
Well, that's good.
And it's like, what the fuck? I've been using Head and Shoulders for years. thinking like, oh man, this is so bad, and it seems to be even getting worse, so I better use more Head and Shoulders.
That's how they get you.
Come to find out, yeah. So, if there are any kids out there listening, watch out.
Yeah, big shampoo out to get you.
Exactly. Rigging the game.
A little bit of apple cider vinegar on your scalp, that'll rebalance the pH.
Yeah.
Well, it just sounds like you just keep winning and winning over and over again. Like you made a film, you don't have dandruff.
Yeah, I'm just always winning. Yeah, that's my whole thing. It's like, I need the wins. I want to rack up the wins.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, we're talking just before the podcast recording started about where's your name from? You didn't say.
Yeah. Good question. So, I was just a Dogmeat fan. And I think one of the, this is Fallout 1 days, one of the most, I think one of my most tragic gaming, probably the most tragic gaming moments of all time was when I lost Dogmeat for the first time in the hub. I don't remember what mission it was, but I was fighting for the guy one of the talking heads.
Yeah.
You know the talking head in the basement in the hub?
Rings a bell.
Yeah, well, anyway, he sends you out on these missions. One of them, I had to fight these gangsters. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just walking around doing stuff. And Dogmeat was shot and killed. And I was devastated. I think I hadn't, the last time I had saved was a long time back. And I'm like, I can't go that far back, but God, I'm like heartbroken. So anyway, so I think that stuck with me and I decided, no, he's still alive inside me in my heart. Yeah. So I'm going to name myself Dogmeat Lives. So, which becomes a funny story later, or like a sort of a funny story later. I kind of made it my whole persona online. So like any website I was signing up to, it was just Dogmeat Lives. You know, I'll do this everywhere. So when it comes time to make an email, Dogmeat Lives. Dogmeat Lives.
Of course.
So that became a problem when I started using it at college for college classes and stuff. And like my counselor actually took me aside and was like, you have to change that name. Like she had no idea who Dogmeat was. She probably thought I was I liked the flavor or something. You know what I'm saying? Like what kind of sick fuck name? And it was because I love dogs.
Yeah.
I love that dog. It's a digital dog and I loved him. I didn't want to be giving out the vibe that I hunger for them, to eat. So I had to change that. But anyway, that's just kind of that's a funny little story on how our perceptions can be different,
Maybe she thought you ate dog food.
I think she thought it was some kind of sick joke about eating dogs. I would think if I was some lady who didn't know anything about Fallout, I'd probably be like, what the fuck? What is that email?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I had no. I can be oblivious sometimes, and especially when I was in my younger years, that was a very oblivious moment for me when I was like, yeah, this is okay to start emailing people professionally using this email. Yeah. So I know.
I always find that really funny. If I'm in any sort of education kind of thing, and they're doing a email all the class, and there's all the usual names, but then somebody's just like Bonglord420 or whatever at Hotmail, and
frequent wanker 69.
Oh yeah, I used to have the very first internet we had back at home. I had to set up the email account name kind of thing, so I had it as a epileptic monkey. Because it was like a child. But then all the time, if there's any issues with the internet, my mum had to call up, she had to go through all this name, and it was a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
I changed when I was living with my mom. It was before wireless, or before she was using wireless, and I changed the wireless network's name to something like a dildo. Just to annoy the neighbors. And I had moved out like 5 years after that. My mom calls me. So I bought this iPad trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. What's the network name?
Mom, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
Look for the dildo.
But she one Christmas she bought me this underwear by accident that had pictures of animals fucking each other. She hadn't noticed the print. Just bought some underwear for me.
Cute animals.
I opened it up and what the fuck, mom? It's got pigs and all sorts of weird stuff.
That sounds like a great pair of underwear.
So we have that sort of a relationship, I guess.
Yeah. So can I ask you guys questions?
Sure.
Okay. So Gimp, where did you get your name? I don't know if you guys have covered this in past episodes.
Yeah, actually, there's a thread called "What is the story behind your DAC username?" And I explain it there, but it comes from this random drum and bass song. I just like the sound of it, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
Not very exciting.
So Meg said that you came up with or you suggested his name?
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
That was, I guess, 20. Quite a bit, and basically what happened was that the moderation took a direction that none of the members really agreed with, changing the whole dynamic, the whole concept of duck and cover. It probably needed a bit more moderation, but there were these constant conflicts with moderators, and pretty much all of the members that were left, like, you're trying to change the site into something that isn't enjoyable for most of the members.
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember like the internal stuff. Like I was paying attention to it at the time, but I don't really remember like the moderation, or even like I think like for me it was more just like Fallout. I just kind of like was over it, like
sure.
And I think at that time, Facebook was becoming like a thing that all my friends had. Mm. And to me, that kind of got more of my attention. And I think around the time I was starting the podcast and I was trying to like get people to listen to it. And I just kind of like, I went over to Facebook, and I think that kind of became like my social area. And I think it was kind of a dark time for the internet when like my real identity took over, instead of just being some guy, some alias, it was kind of like, let's all be ourselves online. And I kind of did that for a while. And I don't know. I think it was, for me, it was just part of, I think, what everybody was going through, which is kind of like the I don't know what the word is for it, but like sort of the streamlining or mainstreaming of, I guess, internet culture, which is like now your grandma can come on and have discussions.
Yeah.
Which I think at the time I was most active, it was kind of like that was not on DAC. Like we were all, most people were playing parts or having fun or kidding around. online, your actual face was not on the page. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you're a Rex.
Yeah. And I kind of got over that at some point, and now I'm just kind of like, all I do is like try to share my drawings, and that's basically it. I don't know. I think discussions online, I sort of like, I burned out on those in the Facebook days, like political arguments and stuff, and even talking to people. It's like, I'm never going to see these people. I really don't care what they think. Here's my drawings, like them or don't, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't really want to talk to too many people.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I think what happened with Duck for me is I just kind of forgot about the site.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't post for a bit, had something else to do.
Right.
And then completely forgot about the site for a good 10 years almost.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying, but it's sort of, there was like an identity crisis, I think, for a lot of us, because we weren't really big. I mean, I think it was like right after Fallout 3 came out, the site sort of just, for a lot of us, just like a year after, was dead. Because Fallout 3 was like, I didn't like the game when it came out, like personally. I went back like I think 2 years later and actually played through it, and didn't really like it that much then. It was decent. But it's just like, Fallout 2 at that point come out so long ago, and it's just kind of like I just lost I guess interest. And yeah, I think Facebook sort of glamored me into spending more time there. But anyway, that's my own opinion.
It was never about Fallout, was it? Dak.
I think it was never about. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it sort of was. I really enjoyed the world. Like, I still think the aesthetic and the concepts, I really think are cool. Are cool, super cool. So for me, like, a big part of it was. Yeah, I don't know, and then. Yeah, but I guess towards the end, like after the third one came out, we were having more like just political conversations or, general discussion. And I think I just kind of I went over to Facebook, as lame as that sounds. I started spending time there, and then just kind of forgot about Dak. But you guys were more, I think, active than I was in the community.
Big time.
I was active when I was posting. I was pretty active, I think, but I took long breaks as well.
I used to go on it like every day, and I was in the IRC channel and dicking about otherwise. But later on, I just I went to university, moved to Manchester, and I was socialising a lot more, drinking and that.
Right.
So I didn't go on the internet, all the forums and stuff. Well, not just Dak, but everywhere. I did go on Facebook and that, but I already feel like I'd done it all, man. I've been on the AC for a few years. I've already had all these conversations. It's all been solved. So I don't know. I lost interest for a long time. Yeah,
I mean, at some point you're having the same conversations with new people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I've already worked this out, I don't need to explain this general concept again to this person. Yeah, I mean, the site kind of died. And I mean, I think new people were coming on, and it was just kind of like, whatever. I don't want to get to know these new people. There's nothing really keeping me in this place. And I think just the internet has just changed. Like, I think all of us are, I mean, for a long time, we're more, well, I shouldn't say all of us. I think myself and a lot of people I knew became more associated with like their real identity online, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been set up that way, with the way you sign up for like Gmail or Facebook, and it links everything together. So you really can't help but associate yourself with all these websites. But I'm kind of like, I sometimes I look back and I'm like, man, that was really cool when we had a space where I could be Dogmeat Lives and just fuck around and have fun and, say some crazy shit on the internet without it being, connected to me. But I basically doxed myself, so that ship has sailed at this point in the podcast.
I think even listening to other posters' voices is like, oh.
Yeah.
Is that what they sound like?
It is sort of odd. Yeah, I'm still kind of like, I was listening to, I think I listened to 2 was the last one I listened to, your second podcast.
Mm.
And yeah, it's kind of odd. It's like, this is Megatron? It's weird, like the creature that you kind of summon in your head when you have this, avatar and screen it. Like Megatron, I always thought it was like this, I always thought of you as like almost a monk-like figure.
Mm.
You were like one of the cool dudes on DAC. Not that you're not cool in real life, but I was like, damn, Megatron's like a wild dude. To hear you seem like a normal guy, but it's kind of weird. Like I would almost have expected you to sound like a robot, like Megatron talking to you, or some wild, voice.
Sound more rad.
So like an AI or something. Gimp Mask, it's like, you don't know. You have no idea. But it's it's weird to like hear the actual voice and how like sort of normal we all sound and are. Which is another thing that's cool about, that was cool about like back then in the old days. Like you could have these weird, you could have your persona. I mean Dreadnought, who I keep coming back to because he was kind of just a weird dude. You get a name and you get a profile, an avatar, as the kids call them, and you create like, I mean, at least for me, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but like you create almost like a mental image that's like not quite human. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's weird to like, oh, we're all just regular people. It's kind of weird. Even though I know it in real. I know that. I don't actually think you guys are like part of the Matrix. I know you're real people, but it's kind of weird to like hear your voices, which is basically exactly what you said. But I took like a minute longer to say.
No, it's good.
I think I think that could also be quite a big cause of the animosity on the internet. Like if all of us, the whole DAC got together, probably would get along fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
but there's this some, like you said, it's a bit, if not inhuman, at least unhuman element to it,
Subhuman.
Yeah, like a bot.
Subhuman. I mean, we talking about Facebook now, or no? I just want to clarify. I have left Facebook. I no longer have anything to do with that website.
That's good. Seems to be the theme with people.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about real life and DAC, just making a segue here.
Sure.
You're friends with Man Oil in real life, aren't you?
Yes, I am friends with Man Oil.
Did you guys meet through DAC, or did you know each other before?
No, we met through DAC, and he was like, I think he was one of the guys who came on late. He was sort of, he came in and as I was like, I had 1 foot out. And I think we kind of, on Facebook there was a group of like, DACers, and we kind of started talking through there, and just kept in touch, and I eventually visited him. I've visited him. What the fuck? Sorry, I'm glitching out over here. I visited him a couple times. He lives in Arizona. And so that's and I call him my internet friend. And it's always like my wife is kind of like it's like a weird part of my life where I'm like, I know a guy who lives in Phoenix. My wife's like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was friends with I don't even remember like his DAC name, but I've talked with guys, in Norway or whatever, and like other, and I think Poland. I think one of the guys who I was close with on Facebook. I don't really talk to them anymore because I'm not on Facebook. I just post drawings on Instagram these days. I don't really talk to anybody. But yeah, for a while there, I was like, oh yeah, my friend from Poland, you know. It's like it's kind of weird if people. And I just started calling you guys like my Fallout friends. That's my name. That's how I describe you to normies.
Yeah.
I just go, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast with my Fallout friends. Because people know Fallout. So I'm like, you know, if I said DAC, they'd be like, what the fuck is that? What is that? Like an AA or something? No. All my Fallout friends.
Yeah.
It's weird to us, but I don't think this sort of thing would be weird to kids these days.
That's true.
Someone said, I'm having a chat with my Fallout friends. All right.
Right. Yeah. I will say, like, one cool thing that I thought about, and
This ends part 1 of Mammoth Land episode featuring Dogmeat Live. Thank you for listening.